evening.
Hello.
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 Everybody's here.
We're here. I don't know if anyone else is here, but there you are. Anyway, welcome to Shadows and Lights. And tonight we are interviewing Charlie from Afterlife Paranormal. And we're going to read about Charlie's start of how we got into the paranormal and what he's done since then. And a few of his stories that he's got to tell us.
Yeah.
Will be quite interesting, yeah?
Yeah, it will be. Can't wait for this, actually, yeah.
I'm sure it will.
Right, we have a Facebook user who's in, and it says, "Hi, Lynn."
Hi.
Just Facebook user.
I can't see anybody on my side.
Can you not see anyone on yours?
I've got the three screens up, and I've got your in the chat icon come up.
What it is, I think if whoever joins on, they've got to accept the StreamYard.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
otherwise the name doesn't come up.
No,
okay.
So
and then we can't read out who it is.
Yeah. Right, that's fine. Okay.
Is it? It's Eve. I think it's Eve. Is it Eve? Eve, is it you, the Facebook user? Well, welcome anyway. So, welcome, Charlie. It's lovely to meet you. I've never met you before, but I've been sort of. Oh, it is. Hi, Eve. You're right, lovely. Welcome. We're really interesting, actually, about how you started. So, could you tell us a little bit about yourself so the watchers can find out how you started and how it all went for you and got you into this subject, Charlie, please.
Okay, yeah. So it all started years ago when I was 8 years old, when I was a child. It was in St Martin's Flats in Birmingham, and it was in a masonette, and it was about 8:30 in the morning, broad daylight, when I seen a little girl sitting on a chair staring at me. I thought nothing of it. Then when I looked round again, she was gone. So when I got out of bed, I went to see my mum. I asked my mum about this little girl, and she said, no one's been here. And then she asked me, what did she look like? I said she had a white dress and she had a flower on the left side of her head. And she says, that sounds like my sister's daughter who died in these flats in 1956 of a gas leak. So ever since then, because I never met her, because I wasn't alive when she was alive, ever since then, it's made me wonder. So years and years down the line, it's been on my mind. So that's what got me into the paranormal, basically. And from then, I've just gone straight from there, to be honest. That's how it all started. And now I've been doing it 15 years plus. I've experienced all sorts of things, from Ouija boards to manifestations, spiritualized different entities, and all sorts, really, to be honest. And I'm still doing it now, to be honest.
What do you personally, when you go to an investigation, what is your favourite go-to do on the night? Because we've all got our own little favourites, haven't we? You know.
Right. Regarding location or regarding equipment?
Equipment. What is your favourite go-to and why? Right.
My favourite equipment will be the SB7. Now, a lot of people use the SB7 just on its own, but you have to use a voice recorder in it, because ghosts will manipulate the voice through that white noise. If you've ever seen the film Poltergeist and they've got the television on, it goes,
it's white noise.
Yeah. That's the same thing. So to me, the best evidence I've ever got is through the SB7 on a recorder. I went to a house once and we had 6 voices on the SB7 in one house, which was probably the amazing EVP I ever got, to be honest. And that would be my best tool for using on any investigation, especially houses, private house dwellings. Seem to work well on them. My favourite location, I'd say, it's got to be the one we've not long done, Castle Bromwich Hall. It delivered for us. It gave us some good EVPs, good interaction with the spirits. So that'll be my good location, and that'll be my best ghost tool.
Brilliant. So what was the best thing that you got out of this castle, which is a hotel, obviously?
The best thing I got out of that hotel was the drawing room. Now, I know the drawing room used to belong to Lady Ida. She used to live in that building, and she loved the building, she loved the grounds. The actual drawing room we was in was originally Lady Ida's bedroom. And leading on to that is a solid outdoor that goes into the old music room where she used to play music. Now, we're calling out for this and that. And what we noticed was the music room door had opened. At first, we thought nothing of it because I thought, well, it's a big building, it's an old building, has a wind, I jarred it, and it had come open. And then the spirit box, out of the blue, just said, "Can we be friends?" So I've looked round, and you know when you do the eyes, like the eyes start going, and I thought, I can't believe I just heard that. And so we shut this door up, and we asked it to open again, and it opened. No, it didn't open straight away. So we called out and called out. I said, "I'll be your friend." She opened the door again, and the door opened again. So we checked the door, we latched it, we unlatched it, see if there was any movement. So we shut the door, went round the grounds for 40 minutes, because then I know if it's a wind, the door will be open when I come back. We come all the way around the building, we come back, and that door was still shut. There was no explanation why that door was opening, and no explanation why. So we jarred it open again, we put a REM pod behind the door, shut the door, REM pod in front of the door. 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, the door opens again, no REM pods going off. So whatever was opening and shutting that door was dodging the REM pods. And I can't see how they've done that. The only way you would dodge a REM pod is if you're travelling an orb and you're high up where you'll miss the detectors. That's how I see it. So we see a lot of orbs, and orbs can go pretty high. And I say some of the orbs are very good at dodging these meters, because if they're high enough, they'll go straight over top of them. But to physically open the door is another matter. We've got no explanation what that door opened, to be honest.
Can I ask you about that?
Yeah.
Right. So you've got a solid. I will be asking questions. I can't help it, Charlie.
That's fine. Yeah. That's what it's about.
Yeah. Right. So you've got a solid oak door.
Yeah.
How old would you say that door was, approximately?
How what?
How old would the door be?
The door, I wouldn't say the door's the original structure, because I know later on they modified all the hotel because it's all been done up nice now. So the door is an old looking door, but I wouldn't say it's the original structure door.
Right. Do you know as it's hung on the what do you call it? Is it? It's not the latch, is it? The hung on they put them on those, what do you call them?
Hinges.
Hinges. Now, what kind of a hinge did it have?
It had three drop hinges on the back where you'd lift the door, you'd drop these doors onto the hinges.
Right.
Okay.
Because some of the hinges, right, you've got some which are your normal everyday doors where you've got your 3 bits and the 2 in between, they just open like that. You've got others which when you pull it open, because it's got the one spike like that, it lifts up, doesn't it, when they open it? So they're the sort of doors that tend to shut because they don't stay up, do they?
No, and you're right on that. That is a fact. But this particular door has got a brass handle and it's got a catch of clips. So with the catch clipped, it would be impossible for that door to open.
Yes.
With a catch clip. So because we pull it through and make sure the catcher is clipped, I don't understand how it was opening, but it was still opening.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Do you think how much activity apart from that were you getting in that room or the room side of the door?
The door moving was probably the top activity. The other thing we got was 2 EVPs. We got one in that actual area when I asked it to say my name. Now, the amazing thing about that, it did say my name, but it was the way it said it and the accent what come with it. I said, "Can you say Charlie?" So most of the spirits that talk through the spirit box go Charlie. This one didn't. It went Charlie. And it sounded like it had an accent talking in English. So I wouldn't say it's like Lady Ida. I don't know. I would say it's Catherine, somebody else who was a member of the Bridgemans. So I don't know who that was. Now, in the second room, the dining room, we had an EVP of Teresa. Now, this sounded like a young female, which the youngest one was there, which was Catherine, which was the uncle's, I think it was the nephew or something of somebody who owned it. He made Catherine and moved in there for a bit. And it was doing all this. This was a necrophonic box. It was going there, it went, Teresa, just like that. And it sounded that's exactly how it went. It was doing all this stuff. It went, Teresa, just like that. Of course, I looked round, she was gone, as usual. But that was a good EVP. Really good.
See,
Can I just butt in for 1 minute? Charlie, I've had to check on your group, and what you'll have to do is, if you can put a post up quickly and tell him to click on the poster that I sent up earlier, and then you get on the live from there.
Right, how do I do that?
If you just go onto your group.
Right, drop this page down, yeah? Go onto my group.
Yeah.
Just put a post on it to go into, you know that post that I sent you with a live on it?
Yeah.
Today? If they click onto that, it's got go on the live and it'll come up for them.
Oh, let me have a look.
It's a bit of a pain in the neck, to be honest with you. Because if it goes on a different group, then it sort of doesn't come on, does it? Otherwise, his listeners aren't going to be able to watch it. It's StreamYard. I don't like StreamYard, no. The other one's better.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is.
I think so, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely is. Looks like he's got a hat on as he's froze on there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, he's gone.
He'll be back. Well, I think that was interesting what he said about
yeah. I've followed Charlie for a while.
Yeah.
Especially over the lockdown and what have you.
Yeah. That was really interesting. See, I've got an affinity with wards, and I seem to I can get a lot off just feeling old wards, and I can do readings off it. But I also get attachments, so I've got to be careful. Proper, really careful.
Always worries me.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I've pressed that video, gone off, lol. Right. If you copy and paste that link and put it onto your page, Charlie, try and do that, lovely. And then go back into the messaging and then go back on yourself on the link she shared. That's it. That's the one.
Right, I went on it, I pressed it, and then the video went off. Then I saw all the comments coming up, but the video weren't coming up.
Right.
That's what happened.
StreamYard for you.
Yeah, so when it come on, I could see you and the I forgot the other lady's name, but all the comments were coming up. Well, I think it was your or whoever was on, but now it's not coming up. But when I've done it like that, it was coming up, but my video didn't come up. So I don't know what happens.
Right, that's okay. We'll start.
That's all right. So for everybody who's watching, wherever they are in the world, which they most probably will do in a couple of days' time when we've shared it out enough, where in the UK do you live? In what area?
Me, I live in Warsaw, Central United Kingdom.
Yeah, I know Walsall. And is that where your group's based?
We haven't got a group. We used to have a group, but we haven't now. I find it better to do it on my own, because when I've got a group and we're in a building, then we've got a couple of people chatting there, and I've got a couple of people chatting there, and I'm trying to do an EVP and I get contamination.
Yeah,
so when I do my work, I have to be very serious and accurate of what I'm doing. So I can't have no noises left, right. So I haven't got a team now. I do it with just me and my partner.
Yeah. Do you know what? To be honest with you, I love going out to other people's groups because I get to meet people because I don't meet anybody. So I get to meet new people, and it's nice to see how they work. So it's nice to go off on an invest now and again. I love it.
Yeah.
But I've had groups. I've been in groups. I prefer to be independent like I am. It gives me the freedom and peace of mind that I haven't got to go and do anything and take all my time up, because I haven't got any time to take up really, And I know some absolutely fabulous groups, and I think it's great that everybody should get together, as they do, and just go and investigate, because you can go to a building 20 times and get something different every time, can't you?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do know some groups. I've worked with groups. I've worked with Wednesday Paranormal more than any other group, to be honest. I've worked with Spectra, Nigel Webster's team, who's a demonologist, and I've worked with him for years. So I've worked with teams. My own team, I don't really have my own team, but sometimes we will work with other teams. I just think if I'm on my own, then I can take my time. I know how quick I want to use, what road I want to go down, which direction it's going to go in, and then I'll do the hot spots of where I think I'm going to get the best activity. And the way I do that is a baseline. So we use a millimeter, we'll go around, we'll do a baseline test, and we'll see where it's triggering. And then we'll try and find the source where it's triggering. And if there's no source where it's triggering, it means there's activity in them areas. So that will be my hot spots. Yeah. That's when I'll be sending REM pods up and EVPs. So that's how I like to do my investigations, to be honest.
That's good, that's really good. So what was the first investigation you ever went on, Charlie?
Well, that's a good question. Big investigation must be the House of Cries up in Wolverhampton. We did actually catch a Victorian lady in the window, which was put on the site. I'm snapping away with pictures. I've got the team. This is when I had a team. The team was outside, walking up and down the grounds in the dark. I've got a digicam. I'm snapping away with this digicam. Must have took about 200 photos that night. And then the next day, I'm looking through the photos. Nothing. And then I see something, and I thought, what's that? So I looked back. I zoomed in, and there's a Victorian lady in Victorian clothes with her back to the window. Now, the thing what amazes me is my team was out there that night and nobody's seen it. The only people picking up the camera. So we were back to the window. She must have been watching the team go up and down. And that's the best capture I got. We're back there the 25th of September, actually. And it was the 25th of September. We'd done it last time because there's a gravestone on there. And it's the anniversary of that death. So I believe that the spirit of that person is active the 25th of September every year, and that's why we're investigating on that date.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's interesting.
Really good pictures, can't you, if you're snapping?
Have we got somebody trying to come in, Annette?
Gemstone. I don't know. Who's that? Do you know that?
That's my daughter, Gemma.
All right. Yeah, she can come on.
Hi, lovely. Hello. Hello, darling. What's your name?
It took me ages to get on here.
Pain, isn't it?
What's your name, lovely?
Oh, it's Gemma, but that's my nickname.
Gemma can be funny, trust me.
Ah, good. That's good.
And he can be mad when he wants to be.
That's what we like. It's exactly what we like.
Yeah, that's my dad for you.
Yeah, so I mean, you can take where photographs. I like to get the evidence. I do.
Yeah.
If I don't get it on video, I like to get photographs. Now, many years ago, we done one of the first groups I was with. We done Morecambe Winter Gardens, right? And I just loved it. And I was literally sucking the walls.
Sucking the walls.
Right. Loved it. So when we had the walk around, of course, we got split into our little groups and we were taking. And I took this photograph from the top where the bars were, looking down onto the stage. and on the right there's a seated area, the boxes. And I got a Victorian lady in there, and she had these, I don't know whether it's looking glass or whatever, but she was there very proud like that. And we had the meeting like about a month later, and it was all discussed. So I've got this, it was trashed. Oh, it was trashed.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's nothing new there, is there? It was trashed.
Yeah.
But somebody had come to the meeting who was also there, and they were in another split group on the other side, and we must have taken them photographs at exactly the same time, because she's got the same lady. Right?
Yeah.
That's brilliant, that, you know. So there is the ups and downs of groups as well. They don't like you having nicer things than them, but it's all about gathering information, gathering the evidence, looking at it, what it could be, what it might not be, and then taking it from there. And, you know, just backing up your evidence, just get your back up. And I think it's amazing. A lot. I mean, how many photographs and videos have we all took on this subject?
Yeah.
It's run out of, you know, everything, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean,
run out of space, run out of everything.
exactly. It's like, you know, sometimes you can put a picture up which you know is a genuine picture, and then you're going to get somebody say, oh, that's fake, that's rubbish, that's fake.
Yeah.
You're going to get that all the time, because we've got trolls, we've got skeptics. And I mean, when I do an investigation, so I'll do my investigation, let's say the crying house. So there's 5 rooms in the crying house. There's 3 Victorian lounges, and there's 1 Victorian kitchen where the maid used to work. So I'll do the investigation. Everything I've done in that night will be in my head. Then the next day on the Sunday, I'll type it all up on an information paranormal report. So we've got reports of what we found. So if I ever go back there, I can look at the last report and it'll tell me exactly when I got the last location. So that's how I do my reports. Everything's logged.
Yeah, good idea. That, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to do that. But if you don't, and you do 2 or 3 more, it goes out your head.
Yeah, exactly.
You end up, don't you, Charlie, going back through all your photographs through the night, your videos, see who's done that, trying to remember who said what come out, and it doesn't work. You've got to do it straight away. That's
it, yeah. That's how I document everything. I mean, I've got a computer room and everything to do everything with, so everything gets documented. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is, has to be documented. So the EVPs are a different thing, because they're video like recording. So the EVPs go on a recorder, they're all stored on a recorder, videos are stored on a video thing, and then we'll have all the videos, all the recordings, all the paperwork, documentation, and we just keep it all in one place, and that's how it works.
Yeah. Do you go with him, Gemma?
No.
No, Gemma don't. Gemma
I'll probably get freaked out easily if I did.
Gemma's run.
I don't go in him, but I always watch his lives though.
Yeah.
She does. Yeah, she does.
Tell me, Jem, right, tell me why you don't go with your dad.
Probably because I'm scared of getting touched, like some of them have.
Yeah.
And obviously, every time I watch Dad's live video, I always think my nan's going to come through, which I hope that she does. You know, whenever she does.
Yeah.
I hope that she does. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm hoping.
Yeah, but see, that's another thing, Charlie, isn't it? You get people going on these paranormal investigations. Some go on for a dare. Some go on because they want to be scared. Some go on because they want. A lot of people just go because they want to contact their loved ones, if you know what I mean. And it's nothing to be mocked, because I can understand it. You know, you have losses and you miss some and you wonder what they're doing, and it'd be nice to talk to them again. Just have that little bit of that contact, but it's got to be a real thing, hasn't it, Jem?
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be a real thing. Yeah.
I mean, we've been working on frequency waves for the last year, because when we get an EVP come through, there's got to be some sort of frequency wave for that to come through, because it comes through on digital voice. So sound waves could have a lot to do with it. So we've been studying like sound waves, frequency waves, to try and find out what frequency that's speaking to. And if you can find out the frequency that that's speaking through and that's coming, you can get onto that, like say, channel, then you can channel anything, whether it's relatives, whether it's ghosts. Once you find the frequency that's using, there might be a way to actually communicate with the people that you want to communicate with.
Yeah.
So we're working on that for a year, and we still haven't found an answer for it yet.
No, we'll keep going because you will do.
Yeah. It will happen.
Absolutely, you will. Yeah.
Takes time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Eh?
I said it takes time, doesn't it?
It takes a long time. I mean, if you go back to the early 50s, like the SB7 was originally called the Frank's box. And if you go back in there, you used to have like tape to tape, winders. Like if you look at the Conjuring, you used to have the tape to tape reels and everything.
They're the best ones you can have, them.
Yeah.
Best ones, yeah. Absolutely.
It's been going on all them years, and still nobody's found the answer from them years till now. A lot of people have different theories. You have people with psychic books. I found the way to the afterlife. You haven't found the way to nowhere because no one has.
Yeah.
You only know that when you pass over. That's when you're going to know when the afterlife is real. It says in the Bible that everyone gets judged before they go to heaven. So if that's the case, everybody don't go to heaven. So they've got to put them in one place. The only place they can put them is back in the living. And that's when we see ghosts pick up EVPs because they're here right with us. So how long it takes to judge, I don't know, to actually be accepted into heaven.
Yeah.
But I believe we're all here until we're judged to go into heaven.
Yeah, well, where you say that you went to that place on that date, because that's when this thing happened. Do you know what? 100% behind you on that, Charlie. Honest to God.
Yeah.
I really do believe. And what I believe on that's where your ghost. It's not your spirit, it's your ghost.
Yeah.
What your ghost is, as far as I'm concerned, my belief is that it's like a rerun of a video. So it's like rewinding your film and going back over it again. Rewinding your film and going back over it again. I know things that's happened up here because I live in North Wales, right? So I know things that goes on up here. And these, you've heard of Plasteg, haven't you?
I haven't, no.
Oh, well, now you have. Find out.
Yeah, now.
It's a Jacobean mansion, and it's in between. It's in a little village called Pont Blythyn, which is between Mould and Wrexham.
Okay, right.
Yeah, she's the lady that owns it. She's been on the telly lots of times about, how clean is my house.
Oh, right. I know what that is.
We're not going to that one. But what I'm saying is, one of the stories.
You don't mean Kim by any chance?
Who?
You don't mean Kim?
No.
I was going to say, because she used to be on How Clean Is Your House.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah.
So this story of that, right? So there's a lot of history, and that is a great place to go. So in this story of the house, the Trevor family, one of his daughters, they have this big Jacobean mansion, right? So it gets passed down the family. And his daughter is having an affair with the local farmer's son, and they fall in love. This is a true, absolute true story. Anyway, her father finds out and he bans it. It's a bit like it's like a Shakespeare play, really, isn't it? He bans her from seeing him. Anyway, they decide to elope, so they set a time to meet under their favourite oak tree. So at the time, there was no main road at the bottom. It would have been a track, yeah? And it just runs out to the farm. So she said to him, right, I'll meet you here under the tree at whatever time it is tomorrow night. And she collects together jewels and stuff from the home. Anyway, the father finds out and he kills her. He throws her down the well. This is a story that's come out, she's thrown down the well, but she's hidden the jewels. Whoa, tell you what, I think I might go up there with me. Got to be there somewhere.
You're going to need a jewel detector.
So she never go to meet her lover, right? So he sat there now waiting, and she didn't turn up, so he hung himself.
Oh, God.
So what happens? The amount of people who have been killed in cars on that main road over the years, there's been a lot. It's always in the same area, and people who've survived it have always told the tale. Now, I know a few people who have. A friend of mine, her husband was driving buses. So we'd been up to Wrexham to pick a group of rugby players up, and they were on the way back from this do, right? And as they were on the way back, they were going past this house on the main road, and this woman run out across the road, and he slammed on. Oh, let me just plug myself in. Plugged in now.
I didn't sound very nice, did it? I've got to plug myself in.
I don't care.
That sounded a bit dodgy then, to be honest.
So anyway, so he, what happened is he thought he'd hit this woman that was running across the road. People witnessed it. He slammed on, he run out, they were looking, he was distraught, they were looking under the bus, they were looking everywhere, couldn't find anything. But it's the same woman that's seen, it'll be that woman going to meet her lover. Yeah, so that's what it is. And it's always that time. Do you know what I mean? It's the day. Yeah. It's the day. And it's just like a rerun, a replay. I mean, I've heard about, it doesn't just happen with people. It happens with animals. It happens with tractors and buses, and things crash and people see the same. Isn't that weird how things can transform into... It
is. I mean,
yeah.
It's like a moment caught in time, innit? A replay.
Yeah.
Continuous.
I'm 100% with you. When you say like the playback, 100%, that's exactly what it is. I remember in a house once when we caught by the bed, a large lady come down, she turned the head of the woman, she flicked it back on the camera, and it took 60 seconds. There was a dog in the house, nowhere to be seen, and then it was gone. And then we believe that every year, at that particular time, this woman shows up by the bed and does that every year. Saying that about the story, though, when you was on about crashes, in the Maypole, I don't know if anyone knows the Maypole, Druids Heath, there's a road there, and it's called Dart Lane and Crabmore Lane. Now, years ago, all the witches used to own houses, and all the houses were painted white, and they're painted white today because they can't change the colour because the witches put a curse on it. Now, as you go up Dart Lane and you do a left, there's a big old house at the back, and there's a guy there called the One-Eyed Man. He had an accident years ago, and he pushed his eye up into the middle of his head. He only comes out at 2 o'clock in the morning walking down the lanes. Few people have seen him, a few people haven't. And he stays in a lot, so not a lot of people know about him. Well, as you go off down Dart Lane, you come down what's called Gay Lane. There's a tree there where they used to do the sacrifices. And as you come up Gay Lane, there's a little island. And there used to be a pentagram on it. And it used to be like cars having accidents and stuff. So eventually, later on in the years, the council had to dig it up and cover it over and everything and whatever they've done. But the houses are still white today because they can't change the colour. So there's another story for you.
Do you know what? That's interesting.
Well, you know, Dad, I used to live in that area and I didn't even know about that.
I know, yeah.
See, I
know now, though.
Right, this guy that lives, does he still live there?
I don't know, because I haven't been in Maypole for years, so I don't really know whether he's still there or he's passed on or what. It's been a long, long time since I went down Dart Lane.
Fascinated. Right, I've got to ask you some more questions now. You've got me there, Charlie. You've got me. Right then. So he moved his eye to the middle of his head
he was involved in some sort of vehicle accident. I don't know whether it was a farmer, a tractor, a motorcyclist, bus, whatever it was. I don't know. But apparently, when he crashed and his head went forward, the shattered metal on the vehicle had caught the one eye, and it had ripped the eye out the socket, and it pushed the other eye towards the middle of his head. So they skin graft all that over, or put something over it, and his eye just blinks in the middle of his head like that now.
Like the Cyclops, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something like that, yeah. Well, it looks like that.
Yeah.
But the one story, I've been walking down the lanes at 3 o'clock in the morning with an axe in his hand. And apparently a vehicle coming up the lanes once saw him in the headlights. And obviously they didn't stop, they just drove on. Whether he gets cutting his wood at night, he might go out chopping trees at night, I don't know, because he probably don't want to be seen in the day. It doesn't mean he's a threat. He could do the things if he don't do in the day at night, for all I know. But yeah, that story's been around there for years in the Maypole.
That's interesting that. You know, I mean, how long do you think that guy with the axe, how long has that story been circulating, and when did you think
that's been circulating? God, probably about 15 years now. A long time.
See, if you're going to go out, right, getting wood that you haven't got in your own property, you're going to go out at night time, aren't you?
If you're looking like that, he won't go out looking like that in the day. So he'll go out at night.
Yeah. Wow.
I would not seen him at night. I'd never go out at night again, would you?
Right, let's stay with the Maypole. Right, let's stay with the Maypole area. Just on as you come out of Cromwell Lane, you do a left. You get down Bells Lane, and it comes up to an old building on the right with 3 chimneys on it. There used to be witches living there years and years ago. I think it's a community centre or something now. It's believed at 12 o'clock at night you can hear screams coming from that building. And a friend of mine years ago, he was a bit of a mod on a scooter, and he was coming down the road at 3 o'clock in the morning. And as he was coming down, there was a little boy running across the road. So he braked, and the boy disappeared. It was not, and he was running from that building where the witches was. So I believe that Cromwell Lane, Dark Lane, Gay Lane are all associated with that building because it used to belong to the witches, and they probably with the witches what was running everything on the fields. I don't know, but that place is as haunted as I won't swear, but it's as haunted as anything.
As anything, yeah. So that's enough. Do you know what? You've got me here. 100%. You've got me, Charlie. I love witches. I love them, right?
You know, I mean, talking about witches, when I was at school, because I went to school in Torquay, South Devon. Okay, now you get a silver pass and you can go out on your own. I went with a mate and we met two girls named Heidi 1 and Heidi 2. They weren't twins, they were either. But the one was saying that she's a witch. And I'm like, yeah, right. You know, that's your first thing. Yeah, right. I went up to her flat and all the walls are black. What's going on here? And then she was telling me it needs to be. I said, what do you mean it needs to be? She goes, I can't touch a Bible, so you won't find no Bible in the house. And I got into the bathroom to have a wee, and all the crosses are upside down.
Oh.
Well, what's going on here? They come out. Is it true? Is it true? Or you just put this act on for me coming in the door? He goes, no. Because I can see you any day, any year, any time. And that freaked me right out. I said, don't be telling me you can see me any day, any time. Because 10 minutes ago I was having a piss. I
don't want to know. You want your bloody ad.
That's me.
Every day you fuck your daughter.
I don't want to know what it does.
But saying that, that's always been on my mind. That she can see me wherever I go, wherever I'm doing.
So
nice freaky.
Yeah, what she's done with you. How old were you then,
Charlie? I was at school. I was probably about 14, something like that.
And how old was she?
She was about 26, 30.
Right, so what she's done is she's played psychological games with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's played you there to make.
I've only just remembered it, so I forgot about it.
It's never gone away. So she's played you a witch.
It's you bringing witches on memory remembering.
He's got a brain like a sieve had.
Yeah, I get called a witch. I wouldn't say I was a witch. Just because I like to go and sit around by trees and I can feel the energies and so, doesn't mean to say I'm a witch, does it? You know?
Oh, not really.
No, so you know, well, it doesn't, does it? You know.
I can say no more on that subject.
But you know, I don't go around with crosses on the wall, to be honest with you, or upside down crosses. So maybe they're just dabbling with things to see what they like and what's best for them. But it's not best for you, really, is it?
I mean, saying that, you know, all the years I've done the paranormal from this and that, I have never ever seen anything physical. You know, like poltergeist activity. Yeah. I've never witnessed that in real life. That's never come across. We've had a possession, the start of a possession, but that's the closest it ever got. We've never had anything thrown around or anything like that at the minute.
Yeah, I think I actually watched that episode.
A possession. That just totally went.
Was it at Cannock Chase?
It weren't at Cannock Chase. It was at Lime Pit's graveyard up the road from here.
Yeah, that was very strange. That
went totally wrong that night. It was happening that quick. It was just unbelievable.
Wow,
freaky that was.
Yeah, no, so I don't know.
The graveyard is absolutely freaky.
Yeah, it sounds a bit weird again. Yeah, very good. But I kind of I've got a big respect for graveyards. But if you
have to, don't you? You have to.
Exactly, a big respect. But when I go, we've got one just one street away here. But if you go and have a look at that from when it was first opened in the early 1800s, you know, there's some fantastic characters in there. You know, they made this area, and there's the seafarers. There's also and it's a full. You can fill a book with who these people are and what they did in their lives, you know, and it's interesting.
See, when I go to a graveyard, I don't just go to. There's a reason why I go to a graveyard. I never turn up at a graveyard doing an investigation unless I've got some solid evidence that something's happened there or something's gone wrong. The Lime Pits, I was suspecting something to happen because I had the secret that I didn't tell the other team. So to me, it was an experiment to see whether anything would happen. Because in 1891, in that particular graveyard, when they built the church in the 15th century, you know, when they say the devil builds a church next to it, when God builds a church, the devil builds one next to it. Well, they reckon in 1891, the devil came to that land to claim that land, and it was the devil's land. Right. And it's been the devil's land. So even though they do burials, proper burials today, there's 1,500 graves in there. Well, not grave, 1,500, 1800s, and then there's recent graves in there. So I know that if the devil would have claimed the ground, he would have a foot soldier, which they call a demon. That's the devil's foot soldiers. So I knew something. Then somebody screenshotted it as I was coming up and caught the actual demon in front of me. That was put on my Facebook. It was put on my screensaver because it was the best one we ever caught, which proved that there was a demon in there, proved the possession, and proved that the devil owned that land. And that's why I went there for, and it proved it.
That's good, that's really good, interesting.
Yeah, so that's the purpose why I went there.
I mean, sometimes you might, you know, you can go to some graveyards and you can actually feel yourself being followed round. You know, I've been to a couple on the Wirral and it was just out of this world, really. They were coming round with us. But then we started noticing like symbols. Have you ever been in the graveyard and noticed certain symbols?
I've seen it all. I mean, when we've done that, when we done that live pick, the first part of the night, we caught a phenomenon bar over top of the grave. It's a long bar sticking out. There's a massive big phenomenon bar. So that means if you get a phenomenon bar in a graveyard, you know there's energy, because that's where the energy builds from, the phenomenon bar. They'll put that up before the energy starts. Then that will just give a massive energy across the graveyard. So whenever you get a phenomenon bar, you know that energy has started. So that's the first thing to look out for when you go in a graveyard.
Yeah.
You've got to catch it on a camera.
Yeah, brilliant. That's it. It's having the right.
I've got a picture from when I went into the graveyard, and it's if you look at him, it's sort of quite see-through, but you can actually see him. He's a big tall bloke, and he looks like an undertaker.
Yeah.
Oh, undertakers, right.
I'll send you that picture, Lynn, to have a look at.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that. We've got a local story here, but it's not really local. I didn't realise until I started looking into it. It's a worldwide phenomenon. And it's in Broughton by Aerospace, right? And they've got a wood there. It's on the Harden estate, the Gladstone Harden estate. He used to be the Prime Minister like 500 years ago, whatever it was. Not really, about 100 years ago, something like that. And courting couples in the 30s, this was now, and they were up the lanes there in the woods courting, and the next thing, this priest came floating by, and he was over 10 foot tall, and he had a big black hat on.
Big black hat.
Yeah, they said he was a priest, but he was tall and he was floating. That seems to be some kind of phenomena all over the world.
Yeah, tall black hat.
Yeah. So there's something in that. There's something definitely in that one.
Shall I tell you something about, like, when it comes to like ghosts floating, right? So if you've got a ghost floating, let's just picture this, right? Let's think how old the ghost is and how far back it goes. Right, because sometimes that could be in a place where there was a building years ago, and that building could have a stair going on to upper landing.
Yeah.
So when we see ghosts floating, it means they could be standing on an upper landing, a staircase or something like that. But people always say like floating ghosts, but he's basically standing on something what we can't see in our time. And I also believe that, say I was born in 1965, so say I died in 1965. I can't see past 1965. So if that was to come into the atmosphere now, they would see the building as they seen it in that year.
Yeah.
They wouldn't see it as we see it now.
That's right.
And this is where it gets confusing, when they say, oh, he's floating. Well, there was probably a landing there years ago, but not now. And I think that's how it works.
Yeah,
really.
really.
Like me, when we were younger, we used to have a ghost that used to go down the stairs, but his legs disappeared into the stairs.
Yeah.
So the stairs were lower. At some point
the most weirdest thing I have ever seen ghost hunting is in Roughwood Chase. I was with a team of people who was doing an investigation in the woods, and I was probably about 10 yards beyond me, and my torch was going dim. The batteries were going, and I was banging it, and I happened to look up in the trees. And as I look up in the trees, I saw this big black thing, and it looked like a bear, and it was jumping from tree to tree, and these big high trees. And it looked like the shape of a black bear, and it was jumping. I thought, what's that? And I was trying to call the team, but there was two in front of me, and it was jumping and jumping. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. Then we're doing an investigation 2 months down the line in Roughwood Chase, and we caught a picture, what people had screenshot, of like in the camera light, it's white, like a bear hugging on the side of me, which was put on the site. So I'm thinking, is this the same thing I've seen in the trees? But I could see that with my naked eye, so why could I see it on the side of me, only on a camera? So I seen it with my naked eye and on the camera. That's the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen in all the years I've been doing that.
I wonder what that was then. What do you think, personally?
I've got no idea what that was. No idea.
Like a wolf man or something like that.
I wouldn't say a man, it's definitely an animal, but it was the size what got it. It's like, Kestrel was like that big in it. This thing was like that, massive, and it was jumping quick, and it was like following us through the woods. I've no explanation why that was there, what it was. I couldn't name what it was. I know it was animal shape, but then again, they say when you look at evil and demons, they can form any shape they want to shape, what they want at the time.
Yeah.
So whether it was something to do with that, I wouldn't like to say. All I say is I saw it. What I see, I believe, and because I saw that, I believe that it was some sort of animal.
Yeah.
See, we've got one something like that up in Abergele, and it's where Ger Castle is, and where they've done Get Me Out of Here.
Yeah.
Now, I've been going there for years and years, and they've got caves up there. You have to go up. It's a public footpath. You go up past the castle, up this path. You go for about a mile, and you come to these caves. Now, we've done a big investigation in these caves. Got some fabulous EVP. On the way back, oh, horrendous. There was an entity, just like what you're saying, but it was huge. We couldn't get out of there quick enough. It was very, very, very scary. My heart was pounding, and I think there was a lot of people frightened. And then I think, oh, well, did we actually make ourselves frightened? But no,
Yeah, that happens.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't. It was there because we all felt it, and it was just a black, and it just followed us. Just followed us until we got out the woods.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, you know, somebody said earlier about Cannock Chase. We've done loads of investigations. Cannock Chase is, of course, international interest all over the world, from the Pigman to the Wolfman. But the only story that left out was the most important story of all, which you don't read anywhere or anything. The Wolfman was real. 1960 something, there was a Wolfman seen running through the woods and jumping over the road outside the woods and going into the next wood. They reckon, well, not a Wolfman, a wolf, which was seen running across the road from Cannock Chase. The Pigman, I don't believe in, because I don't believe there was some sort of Pigman. I think that was probably someone dressed up with a Pigman on. But the interesting story is, in 1971, there was a little boy in Cannock Chase. He was about 15 years old, and he'd phoned the police, and he said, look, I've just seen something strange in the woods, and it looked like a wolf. Now, it was seen in the 60s, but this little boy seen it in 71, and he was giving, the police were going, yeah, right, okay, we've had a load of stories like this, we know them false. They went and checked about an hour after in the woods. They found the lad dead over on a Ouija board in the woods, as he was doing the Ouija boards in the woods. But when they found him, he was dead. So they've got no explanation what he's seen, what happened, or what killed him. So it's another strange mystery. And it happened in Cannock Chase. The black-eyed girl was last seen at the back of Go Ape. She was seen, that was to do with the Raymond Morris murders, as we know, when he murdered them children. But they believe that the black-eyed girls are the children he murdered. But then you look at the story, they weren't actually murdered in Cannock Chase, they were murdered somewhere else, and they were brought to the edge of Cannock Chase.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, well, the black-eyed girls could be related to something else, not the Raymond Morris murder. They didn't murder them there. They placed their bodies by the roadside by Cannock Chase. That's what I mean. How things get mixed up over the years.
Yeah, yeah. It's like fables, isn't it? I like to do fables. I do the fables round here. And I always say there's no smoke without fire, but how much has been added on?
That's right, yeah.
You know, they was wearing white. Oh, yeah, your friend said that. She was wearing white, but they also had a red scarf. Oh, yeah. And that's how it goes on, doesn't it?
It's Chinese whispers, isn't it? Bits get added on.
Yeah.
Goes along.
It's keeping it real and figuring out what actually.
Yeah. There's a video on YouTube, okay, of a drone going over Cannock Chase, and they've spotted the black-eyed girl. You can clearly see from the air from that drone, because the drone's pretty clear, that is a human girl in the white dress standing at the edge of the woods.
I've seen that. Yeah.
You can see it's a real person. It's not a spirit. The black-eyed girls, when they show up, right, they'll look at you and they'll have the black eyes. They do not stand in a white dress at the end of the woods, looking up at the drone going, hi, this is me, I'm a black-eyed girl. So what they do is,
She did, didn't she?
There's dog walkers seen them, there's morning people seen them. But that's what they do. They just show the black eyes at people and it freaks them out. So I don't know where they got the story from of this drone and with the black-eyed girl standing outside the woods. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like you say, you've got to go on real facts.
That's it. You've got to.
Wow, his missus gets freaked out, I can tell you that.
Oh, and
He did one live. What was that place you and Teresa went to, that hotel? What was it called now?
Castle Bromwich Hall.
That was it, Castle Bromwich Hall. And she was had the earphones in. He's come out the door and scared the life out of her.
I'll tell you what happened. We was doing an SB7 test. So I'll put the earphones on her and I'll run the SB7. So all she can hear now is she can't hear me at all. And then I've still got the SB7 in my hand, so I've got to put it on her lap. So I put it on her lap and she jumped. She goes, "Oh, what's that?"
He literally made a jump probably twice. Because there's a room that she don't like going into, and he must have left her in there probably about 3 times on her own.
So I put the SB7 on her lap, and then I'm doing the live feed. I'm calling out. I thought I better check this door just to make sure that it's lodged properly. So I've opened the door, and as I've opened the door, she's felt the wind, and she's gone, "Oh, it's gone ever so cold." Because it's like I opened that door, and as she looked round, I'm standing there. She freaked out. She goes, and then she goes downstairs. That's funny.
But what's
There's this room she does not like going into, and he must have left her in there on her own probably about 3 times. He's like, "Oh, stop leaving me in that room on my own." She doesn't like it, freaks her out.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what it is with Teresa, right? You know, I've contacted so many ghosts. It's like there's something that I don't really like. We had that possession in the graveyard. That was some time ago now. We passed that. But with the crying house where we go back, we should get a bit worried about it because the end room is a book room. And we've done the Ouija board there. I was doing this a Ouija board and we had our hands like that. And I said, "Look, everyone, when we finish the board, just turn your hand over like that." And as she turned her hand out, she got stabbed in the hand. And when we looked at it,
that's interesting, yeah.
And when we looked at it, she could see the hole in the middle of her hand. So that obviously freaked her out even more. And then, like, after calming her down, like getting it, sorted, we moved on to room and room. Everything was fine. And then we went down the cellar. And then she got to the second step and she was pushed from the top to the bottom of the stairs, which she banged her head off the bottom of the stairs.
Oh,
so whatever that was, I don't know, but we're going back again.
Yeah,
so
you've got to. Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen on the next one. It's like, I don't know. I wouldn't say there's an attachment or something I don't like, but every time we go on an investigation, something happens with her, and I don't know why.
You'll have to send her with a crash helmet this time.
Send her a body kit.
Well, it's 58 minutes. How long have we got, Annette?
As long as you want, it doesn't matter.
As long as we want, that's good. Right. So, do you know what? The amount of times that I've been hung is unbelievable. I've been hung. I've had arrows through my legs. And it's so real. Do you know when you're going through it, it just happens, and you just it's so real. It's quite scary because I pick up on if spirit wants to connect with me, sometimes they use what they've died from.
Yeah.
Put that effect on me so I can feel what's going on. And it gives me more of an insight to what's actually happening with this person that is coming through. It's not the nicest things, but it's good to know that they want you to know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, Charlie? They want you to know because they're sort of lost and they need you to know what's gone on and what do we do about it. And you can't always answer that, can you?
I mean, we done one some time ago, a spirit night, because I'm not psychic, I'm not sixth sense. And I tell everybody that, say, look, I'm not psychic, I'm not sixth sense. And people go, "Oh, can you tell me about that?" Look,
not really, no.
I'm not psychic, I'm not sixth sense. I can pick up on things, and when we've done the relative night, because we call it relative nights, so I'm channeling in to try and channel on because the best thing to do is channel on the environment around you, because when spirits come into that environment, they disturb that channel. It's like, because a channel is a channel, so if you disturb that channel, someone's come. And I picked up on this lady, and she was on about a car. Have you still got my car? Well, obviously we don't know who we're talking about. Then someone on the live feed pops up, going, what car was it? I said, it was a Ford Mondeo. She goes, oh my God, that's my mum's car. And now I said, she was on about this necklace, gold necklace or something, in the top drawer in the room she used to sleep. I said, I can't believe it. That's where it is. That's my mum.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
We picked that up, and then we picked up another one about a coat and a watch. And he was on about this brown blazer coat, and he had a little clip up here. And he was on about this watch. I forget the make now. He did say the make. And then another viewer was going, oh, God, that sounds like my uncle. I had his coat, but I'll give his watch away the other day. I said, well, I'm not being funny, but he's asking about this watch. I said, you haven't come across him yet? I said, I'm not being funny, but he's asking about his watch. And then
Getting back there.
and then
Are you two paranormal investigators then?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
What about? I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Oh, sorry. It's Lynn. I'm Lynn, and that's Annette.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Are you an investigator as well?
No, well, I'm not. I'm supposed to be starting with Lynn.
Yeah.
I've just missed one with Lynn because I was ill and I couldn't go.
Yeah. Just been to.
Oh, okay. Okay. So how long have you been doing it for then?
Me, I've been doing it all my life, but I've been investigating about 27 years.
Isn't it 11, 12 years you've been doing it now, Dad?
over 15 years.
Yeah.
Oh, 15.
I don't even know how long it is, to be honest. It's a long time.
Last time you told me it was 10 years.
You know what, Gemma?
Well,
You know what? When you do stuff, sometimes you go, you know, the time just flies, and you do, and then you'd have your bit of a downtime, and then, you know, because you've got your circumstances, things change, and your life changes, and then you're working, and then you get back into it again, but it never goes. It's just this. With me, it's like, it's just finding out why these things are happening. Not that it's any of my business. It's somebody down the street's got stuff going on in their house. And it's not really any of my business. But when I've got this this fascination with history, right, Gemma? Just absolutely. And my mind is like a sponge, and I want all this information, and it's absolutely amazing. And I'm lucky where I live, because we've got lots of castles here. Castles are castles, but then you've got certain good ones. But one of my what tick on my bucket list is Chester Castle, and the group call, I'm going to give them a mention now, and it's Blackgate Paranormal, who are based in Chester, and they've got the contract through the English Heritage for Chester Castle. So anybody can go. Very professional group. I was very, very impressed with everything that they did. They don't interfere. They don't tell you what to do. They guide you. You know, there's people there who'd never been before. But I was with two women who've been the 70 odd and 60 odd. Mind you, I'm 60 odd, but they're a lot older than me. But they've been amazing. And the stuff we got there. And that's all I'm going to say, because I can't tell you any more about that one, because I'm not really allowed to. But that's a great place to go if anybody wants to just go along. Have a look up on their website on the internet. It's really good. But, you know, the things, and I can feel, I home in on things, and it gets me interest. And once I get the interest, you know, I could go and it's drawing me in. And I just got to go, you know, like different places. I'd love to go to these different places, which I do sometimes. Amazing. It's just like, it's trying to tell you the story. It wants you to know what's happened to whoever it is that comes through, or whatever stories. It's interesting, you know, and it's for us to keep telling people what we find. We might go, and then another group might go, or somebody else might find something different. Then somebody else will go, and they'll find the same or similar to what you've experienced. I don't tell if I can help. It's not very often I tell about a lot of stuff, because it's best keeping it quiet, because you don't want people copying what you've experienced. You need them to experience.
Yeah.
You need to experience your own thing, and it's fascinating. It's like being a part of history when you're going out and that person wants you to know what's going on, what's happened.
You know what I call it?
They're reaching out to you, aren't they? You know
what I call it? I call it a jigsaw puzzle, because you have to put the pieces together to make the story right.
Yeah.
And that's how I look. Every investigation I go into, I call it jigsaw puzzle, because I need to get the story right. What's happened? Who's here? Who was here? And once you get the puzzle right, you've got the story right.
That's it. So it's interesting for me, you know. So that's what I've done. And it's been all my life, really. Things have happened personally since I was about 4. And, you know, you don't realise it's going on. You don't realise what it is until... and then I went through a phase where I was really frightened of things like that. But then in my 30s, about 32, something clicked in. And it was like, why did that happen? Why was that going on? And then I found out that I was channeling, and I found out that I'm picking up on energies, and I know, and it's literally, I can't go and stand by somebody because I can pick, you know, I get somebody dead nice to me, and I'm saying, oh yeah, and I know for a fact that they can't stand me. I'm getting the not that I'm bothered.
I'm like that. Yeah. I am. You know what I'm saying? You lying bitch.
Language.
What I tend to do now, Jem, is I do things.
After 9, it's all right.
Do things that I like to do, and I like to be with positive people. I like to be uplifted. I like uplifting people. And it's all about positivity with me. And the more love and light, I'm not one of these lovey-dovey people. Don't get me wrong, because I'm down to earth and I'm solid, you know what I mean? Not like a little pit viper, really, but only if I have to be. But this is how I am, and I love it. And, you know, I'm up for a challenge. If I'm able to do stuff, I'll go and do it. But everything's sort of like coming to me, and I'm quite happy with who I am. I'm quite happy what I do. You know, I don't owe anybody anything. I'm nice with everybody, and that's how it should be. But where the paranormal is, that much stuff is unbelievable what's happened to me. We'll have to do another story one night, Charlie. I'll have to come on your show and we'll do one with you, eh?
Yeah, looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, get an net. I'll tell you what's happened to me. You can interview me on another night. You, Jem, you can come on as well. Yeah. So it's interesting, you see, because it's like.
And if you invite us on your show, Charlie, I can show you my pictures of my black dogs that I have here.
Yeah.
In the mirror, yeah, actually in the mirror, I do. I have the black dogs in the mirror.
Yeah.
Black dog.
Black dog, yeah.
Who's black dog?
She just said it.
I'm a black dog.
No, he said something about a black dog.
Yeah. Took a
Who's
picture
got
of it. Took a picture of it.
Picture.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a black dog, it's just in the mirror.
All right.
Well, I will tell you one story before we go off here anyway. Right, I got this guy, oh God, when was it now? About 2000 it was about 2009, right? And he lived opposite my daughter, and he wanted, he said, Lynn, will you make a paranormal group up? Can we? I said, no, can't, sorry. And I didn't want nothing to do with him or his wife, you know, a bit. Anyway, he mithered, and he got on my nerves, and he said, right, okay, let's start something then. I said, you bring some information from round here and get it together. We'll go and investigate it. and see what we can find. I thought that'll stop him. So, yeah. I gave him like 3 or 4 months. Anyway, he started coming because I was working in Chester at the time. And he stalked me, right? And he found out where I was working. And he kept coming every time I went out on my break. He kept coming out, I've got some information. Look, I'm on my break. Just, I can't do this. And it went on like that for ages. Right, okay. So we went out, right? So it was in November. And it was snowing. And we went up to our local castle, which is called Ewloe Castle, spelled Ewloe. Yeah, Ewloe. We went up there in the day, 2:00 in the afternoon. I stood on this this platform and I looked over at the back castle onto some field, but there was some trees. I was watching this guy. Every time I looked, because he was walking between these trees, I looked. And every time I looked, he disappeared. Peripheral vision, he said, disappeared. Anyway, we went home. And that was on a Sunday. On Sunday night, I had this strange dream. And this strange dream, I was back on that platform again. And I seen this guy. He came down, up over into the moat, up over onto the castle ground. He said, my name's Emlyn, and I want you to know who I am and what's happened to me. He said Emlyn. There was a gap, and then he said Richard. So I don't know whether it was Emlyn in the reign of Richard or whatever, because it was the son of, because he was medieval, it would have been Ap. Yeah, Emlyn Ap, Richard, son of. So this thing, and he was on the floor then, and this young skinny guy comes along. He's all tatters, and he had like a stone, like a Stone Age, I don't know, tool. And this young guy jumped on him and he ripped his heart out. He ripped into, and it was real. So as I was concerned, that was real. And he lifted his heart, and this Emlyn's face was a picture. He was screaming. So I started running. And as I went up, I was floating, but I was on something. My hands were on something. I was floating. And the next thing, I was in somebody's bedroom. And I was in this box room, and I didn't know where I was. And I was stood there, and there was orbs floating around. I'm not a great lover of orbs. I know what orbs are, what they can be and what they're not. And I was figuring out what that is, but I still didn't know where it was. Door opens, and a friend from work walks in. Now, I'd never been to where she lived. She lived on the Wirral. Never been to this particular place. Never been to a home. And she was very annoyed with me, and she wanted to know why I was in her box room. I said, I haven't got a clue. I said, can you see these orbs? She said, yeah, but I want to know why you've come to my house and you're in the box room. I said, I don't know. Anyway, the door opens, and this Emlyn walks through a door. Then I wake up. I thought, what a strange dream, right? So I went to work. I thought, I'm going to catch her on break. So what happened was, she came on break and I was there. Oh, I said, I'm glad you're here. She said, I've got something to tell you, she said. So she made a coffee, sat with us. She said, you were in my bedroom last night. She said, my box room. She'd had this dream. Yeah. She said, you were in my box room last night asking about the orbs. I said, right. I said, that's interesting, I said. And I told her what had happened with me. I said, who? And she had this man walks in, what does he look like? And she described him. Right, and it was the same guy.
Yeah.
So what happened was, now 2 years later, me and my late sister, we took a group of 25 people up to the castle one night. It was September, it was raining, and we'd done a ghost hunt up there. Some people had never been before, and I told them the story about this Emlyn, you know, because you like to get round and get the atmosphere going with them, and they were loving it. And I shouted out, I went, Emlyn, I said, I brought all my friends to meet you. Come down and have your photograph took with us. Do you know what? Within 20 minutes, one of my team come up to me. She said, I don't know what this is, Lynn. She said, well, it's yours. I said, right, okay. So she gave me this thing, on these little compact cameras years ago. Yeah. So she gave it to me, and I've got the photograph. I'll share it with you next time. It's Emlyn, and he brought a young woman with him.
You know?
And you've seen it, haven't you, Annette?
Yeah.
And he's got like an archer's cape on. I don't know whether he's got a shepherd's hook, or it's a bow, or it's a stick, but you can see it. You can see his legs, his big bushy beard. He's quite handsome, actually. His big, massive moustache, big bushy beard, and you can see his eyes and his nose. Really interesting photograph. You don't get nothing unless you ask. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
I know, it's true.
Yeah. Oh, Prash. Yeah, you've got something I can't see your name. Let's have a look. Somebody's on here. Does anybody know this person? Patricia.
Yeah, that's Alicia's friend. That's Patricia.
Hello, Patricia.
Hello.
That's
Well,
my other daughter's friend.
welcome on here, lovely. Why has that gone off now? This has gone off.
Where is she? I can't see her.
She's probably popped on and popped off.
You know what? I'm surprised Lisa's not on here. Lisa's always on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my older sister, Alicia.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Hello. Everything's going lovely there, yeah. So so you know, it's like I say, Charlie and Jem, you don't get nothing unless you ask. And
Exactly, yeah.
sometimes it's just a tiny little. You think, oh yeah, it's as if that's going to happen, but it did. It's amazing, you know.
Catching at the right time.
It's like me.
So-
I got this picture of a nurse and a name.
Yeah.
I totally tried to pay no attention to it. And anyway, I had a soul reading done not long back.
Okay.
And from there,
that must be Alicia.
It is Alicia.
Oh, it is.
Because
Oh,
I've been doing my own investigation at Patricia's house. So, yeah, it is
it is
Alicia.
Alicia.
from the soul reading, we traced the nurse to the Britannica ship that went down near Greece.
All right.
She got a name from there.
Yeah, it's good.
So we're going to go and do a follow-up with that one, aren't we, Lynn?
Yeah.
We're going to have to do it. We found out another name as well, which is exactly the same as her. So there's two of them. So we're going to do a channeling session to see if we can find who the other one was.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just backing it all up, isn't it? So
Yeah.
she's got some fantastic information on that.
Yeah.
You did quite a guess me investigation. You'll see someone in investigation, and they'll be on an EVP. I'll probably get a good EVP about. It'll probably go, David, and then it'll be like moving on. Hold on a minute. Let's get back and find out who David is.
David is, yeah.
Why are you moving on and leaving it? Somebody spoke. Find out who it is, what it's trying to communicate, but they don't. They move on to other things. So they're not picking up on what the information they're getting or the evidence they're getting because they're moving on to other things.
Yeah.
So you need to focus on what you're actually getting at the time.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Somebody here. There you go. Hey, Butte.
Who's that?
I don't know.
That's the trouble with StreamYard. If you don't give it permission, you don't get no names. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You've got to go. You've got to go onto it, haven't you, and accept their thing.
We're on it. We're on it.
Yeah. I just got to run off a minute. Got to go to the toilet.
Oh yeah. You have to go onto the comments and I'm on it now. Didn't even work. You just said.
So Charlie, have you got anything else coming up that you've got planned?
We've got we've got the 25th of December. We've got the Crying House at the minute. We're actually in progress. We was looking yesterday at some venues that we're going to have a look at. I like to go to places where not a lot of people have been. I call it rates. That's my name for it, right? If hundreds of people have been in there,
There's nothing
You ain't
left.
You ain't gonna get nothing. So we pick on places where no one's been, or there's only been a few people. So that's what we're looking at if we do an investigation.
Best idea. Yeah.
I need to go somewhere where I'm definitely going to come back with something.
To untapped, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
that's it. That's what it has to be.
Yeah.
I'd say the freakiest live you've ever done, Dad.
It's gone.
Probably at the Castle Bromwich Hotel when that tablecloth moved. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
And the door opened on its own probably about 3 times, was it?
Yeah, 3 times.
I'll never forget that.
I've lived in a few houses that we've had some very queer stuff happen.
Yeah.
That's my interest in this.
Yeah.
Even though I've not been out, I've seen quite a lot of things.
That's it.
Your wallpaper's nice in the background.
Hey?
With the suns.
It's just a
nice, that is. Oh, look, she's back.
She's back. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. It's 24 to 10. So I'll leave it. Gemma will probably stay on. Knowing Gemma.
Well, thank you very much, Charlie. Do you know what? It's been a really interesting night. We've got
it's a belting interview.
Interesting information, and I've really enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it, yeah.
Yes. We'll have another chat at some other point.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again. We'll go into the depths of the paranormal, probably look at the Ouija boards and stuff like that.
Yes.
And do that.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely up for that. Are you, Lynn? Yeah.
I am. Absolutely.
Let me know when, and I'll make sure I'm ready. I've got nothing on, and then we'll look at the aspects of the Ouija boards, when they were called the witch boards, who made them, how long they made them for, what type of powers they got. We'll look at all that.
That'll be interesting. Thank you very much, Charlie. It's been lovely to meet you and chat with you.
Yeah, you too. And it's been nice, and I've enjoyed it, to be fair.
Yeah. Good. It's been fun. Are you up for that one, Gemma?
Okay, see you in a bit then, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Bye, Gemma.
Bye.
Oh, so that was a good night there, Annette.
That was an interview, wasn't it? That
it was a cracking interview. Lovely guy.
Yeah.
Lovely guy. Yeah. You know, he's got a lot of information. He keeps grounded. Yeah, very grounded. Like that. Interesting. Like it's like these witches. Well, I was seeing it. Do you know, he was telling me, and I was picturing everything. I was going, it's brilliant. This, I'm gonna go up that lane. Don't even know where it is.
Right, we're gonna bring this to an end now because we've passed 9:30 now.
Right.
It seems to have gone like that, doesn't it? That one.
Slow.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody who's come on here tonight to have a look at what's going on. Eve, thank you very much. Thank you for Charlie's daughter Gemma's friends and family, and for Charlie as well. It's been absolutely amazing, and thanks, Annette. It's been brilliant again. Sorted out another good night there, girl.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for coming on, and please come back and join us again. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Yeah. So for tonight, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll catch you next time.
Good night.
Goodbye, everybody.